All right, let's talk about the second thing, and that is how to build the right LinkedIn network. Now, if you're brand new to LinkedIn and you don't have little or no LinkedIn connections, here's where you need to start. Start with the people you know today. Start with your friends, your family, your neighbors. Start with your fellow students and graduates. Start with your professors. Start with the people that you meet along the way and you have met along the way, the people you know. I'm a big fan of, I keep track of everybody I meet. When I get a business card, I put it in my Google contacts. And when I put a business card in my Google contacts, I also look for them on LinkedIn to send them an invite, because I don't want them just in my Google contacts. I want to connect with them in other ways as well. And predominantly for a business perspective and a career perspective, LinkedIn's important. Now, if I meet people along the way who I laugh with and have a good time with, I might send them a Facebook friend request. I might follow them on Instagram or TikTok or Snapchat or whatever. Multiple points of connection is important in today's society. But in the context of LinkedIn, as a college student or a college grad, you want to grow your LinkedIn network in very purposeful ways, focused on your target audience and on their influencers. And the way to be able to find these people and to connect with these people is, again, start with who you know today. And by the way, as you connect with people and reach out to them, you're also going to want to ask them, who do you know that I should meet next? Because your goal is to connect with people who are relevant. Connect with people who can help you move forward in your career. Connect with people who can help you move forward in your business. And there's nothing wrong as you connect and start building some level of relationship with people, to just go ahead and ask, who do you think I should meet today? Not everybody's going to have an answer. Some may. So let's talk about, beyond connecting with people you know today, let's talk about how to find out those other people you want to meet. So let's start with how to use LinkedIn search. So in the search bar, you can type anything you want to type in there. You can type keywords, company names, people's names, school names, anything you want to type. I can type in artificial, type it right, Teddy, intelligence. And just hit enter. Now I have the choice, after I said I'm going to look for artificial intelligence. By the way, I'll put quotes around that. So I'm looking for the phrase artificial intelligence, not just those two words. Now I can decide, what do I want to look for? Do I want to look for posts? These are stories or conversations on LinkedIn. I want to look for companies that are associated with that. Jobs, people, group, school, course, events, services. I mean, that's all the stuff you can look for. Let's go to people. So say I want to connect with people who have the phrase artificial intelligence in their profile. That's basically what I'm saying there. Find all the people who have the phrase artificial intelligence in their profile somewhere. So now, a couple things to think about. When you're searching for people, you typically want to look for one of two things. And that is, under connections, you either want to look for people you already know. Look, I got 52 people who have the phrase artificial intelligence in their profile. Or I want to look for people who are second level to me that I don't know yet or haven't connected with yet. And the reason why I want to look for second level, first level we're connected. Second level we're not connected, but we share mutual first level connections. Oh, that makes it really cool and easy, because then I can ask the people that I know who know these people that I want to get to know, hey, who knows Paul? Well, guess what? Josh and 24 other people I know, Josh and 23 other people know Paul. Look down here, you can see that Steve, Matthew, and 3 other people are who I'm connected with know Richard. And why do you look for second level? Because you can find the people that you know who can introduce you to these people. So you build this search, by the way, you drive it down to what's called the smallest viable audience. So maybe I do artificial intelligence, and vice president. And has to be an uppercase, vice president. Or V.P. Or VP. And then, by the way, I need to probably put parentheses around that to make it work right, because this is called a Boolean search string. So I'm looking for everybody who has artificial intelligence in their profile, and they have vice president. I think I need or VP or V.P. Now I hit enter. I'm going to drive that list down to 2,000 people. So that's pretty cool. Vice President, Cap Gemini, has got the words artificial intelligence in his profile somewhere. So I can drive it down tighter. I can say, look, I want to find everybody who is in San Francisco Bay Area. Hit show results. 2,221. That's a decent list. These are people who are, again, second level to me, artificial intelligence, vice president, second level, San Francisco Bay Area. So if you're searching for people, think about who's my target audience. What's the words that are related to them? What's the roles related to them? Where are they located? And then always look for either first level, which you can strike up a conversation with because you're already connected, or second level, you can find people that you know who can introduce you to this person, etc., etc. So do that search, play around with that, experiment with it. Go to all filters, experiment with that. You got connections of people who are connected to people you know. Maybe they're following a creator on LinkedIn. What locations, what current company, past company, schools, industry, profile, open to, service categories. And then you have all these other ad hoc keywords of their first name, their last name, the ad hoc title, ad hoc company in case it's not listed on LinkedIn, ad hoc school in case, again, it's not listed on LinkedIn. And then fill it out and do this slowly, a step at a time. And as you do it slowly, you're going to drive this number down to something really, really focused. And you can really work that list and get introduced or bump into these people. Now let's talk about what that means, introduced or bumped into. Let me go look at my buddy Randy. Actually, I can go look for Reva Adams. Let's go look for Reva Adams. So here's Reva right here. So here's her profile. Let's say she fits that criteria of somebody I'm looking for. She's second level to me. So I need to find a way to get introduced to her or bump into her. Let's talk about how to do that. So introduce, there's 8 mutual connections. So I'm going to ask Mark Jueli, Mark Hoyne, or 6 other people if they know Reva well enough to introduce me to her. I want to do that by either phone call and or email. Now if I do a phone call, I'm going to follow up with an email message. That's my style. You may use another tactic. But what I'm going to do is ask 2 questions and then 1 call to action. Question number 1, hey Mark, either one of these Marks, do you know Reva well? I need to know the answer to that. Number 2, do you think Reva is the right person for me to connect with in regards to what I'm trying to learn, what I'm trying to discover, what I'm trying to do? If they know me well enough, they're going to know the answer to both those questions. Then I ask this, if so, which assumes that they know that person well and that they know that person is relevant to me. If so, do me this favor. Reach out to Reva in whatever way you think is the most appropriate for Reva. Copy me on the message and introduce me to her for a conversation. Man, this is powerful. Warm introductions by mutual connections is far better than me sending a connect request and hoping and praying. And oh, by the way, hope and pray is not a business tactic. So look for ways to get introduced to Reva or the person you're trying to connect with. That's the most powerful way to do that. And do that introduction off of LinkedIn. I don't know how active Reva is on LinkedIn. She hasn't had any activity in the last 30 days. So via email would be better. And if I don't connect with her on LinkedIn, that's okay. I can still get introduced to her and have a conversation with her. Now let's look at the other way to do it, which I can't do with Reva, but let me give you another example. Let me bring up my buddy Randy. Here's my buddy Randy. Look at his profile. Let's say I don't have 1,335 mutual connections with Randy. Let's just assume for a minute I don't have that. And let's assume I'm not connected to him yet. I'm going to go down to his activity. I'm going to look at his activity. I'm going to look and see what he's sharing. I'm not going to look at all. I'm not going to look at articles. I'm going to go to post. And what has he shared? What kind of conversation? Interested in sharing something about me and him. What has he been sharing? It's all about me and him. Here's one. He wrote an article. And so I'm going to read that article, and then I'm going to figure out a way to comment. Comment in a meaningful way relevant to what he posted. Find an article that you can do that on. Find an article where you can jump into the conversation. Maybe you want to read through his article he wrote in the newspaper. Read through what he's saying right here. And then come back and comment on what he shared in a meaningful way. And after you do that, by the way, once you do that, he's going to get a notification that you did. Then you could follow up with a LinkedIn invite. And you might say words like this. Well, let's talk about that in a minute. But you could get introduced or bump into their content And then the next step would be send an introduction. Send an invite. So let's go back to Reva. Let's say I want to connect with Reva. Okay, so I'm going to send her a connect request. Right there's a connect button. By the way, if the connect button is not there, it's hidden under more. See where follow is? Typically, if follow is here, connect is here, and vice versa. So I want to connect with Reva. Maybe I've already gotten introduced. Maybe I bumped into her content with some meaningful comment. Then I can follow up with a connect request. And every time, I repeat, every time you send a connect request, you add a personal note. And that personal note is the word personal. It doesn't say business note. It says personal note. Hey, Reva, appreciate Mark introducing me to you. Looked at your LinkedIn profile, looked at your company, I looked at your website, and it's really interesting. And my goal is X. And hopefully your goal is something very deliberately related to a conversation. Nothing more. You want to connect and hopefully have a conversation. So I typically say words like this. Hey, Reva, I appreciate Mark introducing me. I looked at your website, looked at your company page. I was really impressed. Maybe one day we can have a conversation. Period. Please join me on LinkedIn. Those are my words. And then I send that invite for her to connect. Now, do that day in and day out where relevant and appropriate. Find the right people. Find the ways to get introduced. Find a way to bump into them. Send them an invite. And then when they accept your invitation or you accept their invitation, no matter who accepted the invitation, once you become a connection, this next step is critical. Critical. Every time you connect with somebody, here's my connections. And by the way, you don't need to have 15,000 connections. I've been doing this since 2007. It's not a race, it's a journey. But I do one thing that a lot of people don't do. And this guy said that to me because he sent me an invite to connect. I looked at his personal profile. I went and found his company online. I then called him on the telephone. This thing here, called him. And he was astounded. He said, nobody has ever called me. I just immediately put myself different than everyone else that he's connected with because I did something in a positive way that nobody else does today. I hope you adopt this idea. Now, you don't call everybody. You call the people that you connect with who are highly relevant to your career or business goals. Let me repeat. You only call the people that you connect with who are highly relevant to your career or business goals. Everybody else gets either an email or a LinkedIn message. But every single time you connect, you either call, send them an email, typically a business email, or you send them a LinkedIn message. And if they're not highly relevant to you, just go with a LinkedIn message. But always do this. Make that first engagement all about them. Lots of people will connect with others on LinkedIn, and they make the first engagement all about themselves. Hey, Vic, I'm Teddy. I sell the best freaking LinkedIn training in the world. I do it across the globe. I do one-on-one coaching, team coaching. I got content all over the internet. Let me know what you want to talk about. No, it's not what you do. You make that first conversation all about the person you just connected with until they give you permission to make it about you. And more often than not, the people who are good people on LinkedIn, which is a majority of the people on LinkedIn, they will eventually make the conversation about you. And they'll ask you, what are you trying to do? What's your goal? Tell me a little bit more about you. And then the next conversation, you can share a little bit more about you. But don't go into a sales pitch until you have permission to go into a sales pitch. Don't go into a job search mode and ask for a job until you know there's a job there to be had and that person may know about it. This is really critical. Connect with intention. Connect with the right people. Get introduced to the right people. Bump into the right people. Send them an invite to connect. When they accept that invite, then the next step is to engage with them in meaningful ways. Depending upon their value to you, phone call, business email, or LinkedIn message. Grow your LinkedIn network on a regular basis. Do search. and find the right people that you want to connect with on a regular basis. Find people who can introduce you to the people you're trying to connect with on a regular basis. I'm not saying do this every day, but do it consistently. But the best way, again, is what I said earlier. For those who are fairly new to using LinkedIn, start with the people you know today. Family, friends, fellow college students, alumni, professors, and people you meet along the way. That is going to give you the greatest value, because then you're going to be connecting with people who may very well know people whom you need to know. So network on a regular basis, connect and engage, and you'll discover that your LinkedIn network can be very, very beneficial to your career journey.